Damn these Biloxi blues, it happens every night. And I ain't never met a riverboat dealer that could ever be a friend of mine.
I have not.
The summer heat never treats me kind, it leaves trouble on my mind. So I'm bidding farewell, putting in my notice, and I'll see you at another time. This highway does not know my name, and I don't care.
No, I
Don't care.
sure don't care. Where we headed?
Heading my way for another place, and I got 3 good tires and a spare.
To the hook, to the hook.
Just a white line gypsy getting out of Mississippi with just enough gas to get there.
Low budget live, not so live tonight from the Low Budget Live Bar and Bunker. And that got something whistling in my headphones. What's up, all you low lifers? You low life son of a guns, you quarantining, better be keeping your butt at home unless you're going fishing. And then if you're going fishing, you better be being safe. And you better be observing all the rules and regulations to do with this insanity that we have going on. Hope all of you are doing well out there. Staying healthy, man. Staying healthy. I know that this is starting to get to me. I don't know what week we're on now. And this deal feels like a long time, but I know it's, probably 3 weeks, I guess, since it really started getting pretty serious for everybody, And man, the only thing keeping me sane right now is family time, a little bit of fishing, getting to fish some, making some videos. Y'all see those soon. Just out there, GoPro chestying it up, making y'all some videos. Been catching some fish off the bed and trying to do some educational type things with that. And, trying to not go crazy. I hope you all are not going crazy as well. Get these headphones adjusted. Took a little trip this afternoon. You guys are going to hear this. This is the podcast for Monday, April the 6th. And a lot of you are home, unfortunately, I'm sure. Some of you are still essential and getting to go to work. But this afternoon, Hudson Lee and I and Ryder D, we went to fish a little lake that I haven't fished in a very long time. It's a state lake out here, and it's trolling motor only. Trolling motor only. It's a small lake, which I understand, but it's like absolutely no outboards. No outboards. But you can't crank your motor. And so getting on and off the trailer when you're by yourself with 2 kids, kind of tricky if you don't have a rope and you're not prepared, because we made a, game time decision to go to this place. So I get out there, I push the boat out. It's about 75 degrees today, so that's nice. The water temperature is about 58 to 60. Get the boat off, push the boat off the trailer, and I got the trolling motor, got that new Garmin Force, but I'm holding it up, like you do to go shallow, because I've got to beach the boat. And I was barefooted, and dude, I got 1 foot on the pedal, and my right foot got on the edge of the boat a little bit, said, bloosh, your boy did a gainer. Right off the front. Full disclosure, only the second time at all the fishing, that's the only second time I've ever filled in. Only the second time. And boy, dude, was I happy. Had, like I said, the first thing I do, I'm talking about head, shoulders, knees, and toes. I am soaked. Luckily, my phone was in the boat already. Gosh. Went into the drink, about 4 feet deep. I stand up, chest deep. And there are people everywhere fishing on the bank at this place. And, you roll up in your wrap truck looking like a bad boy. Woo, got the Ranger, you got a little pep in your step, right? When you roll up at the ramp looking like that, you got a little pep in your step. Then you do a gainer off the front deck, and that's pretty much where it all went wrong. And I don't know what was more embarrassing, the fact that I fell in front of tons of people, or when I had to do the walk of shame to push the boat up on the bank while holding the trolling motor because I couldn't get my fat butt back in the boat. So I didn't really try. But I was like, screw it, I'll just walk out. But we went fishing. What's up, Harper? Harper coming around the corner. Y'all can't see her. She's going around the corner. That's what happens now because, like we said last week, she's home from college, so she totally interrupts the Low Budget Live Bar Grill. I told you to stay out of this side. Her bedroom's on the other side of a wall you guys can't see. And not really sure why she's here right now, knowing I'm doing a podcast. But and she there she goes again. And she didn't want to be on the podcast tonight, she said. So, you know what? No more spray butter talk. Get out of here. We're talking about serious stuff, not spray butter. She loves the low-lifers, she says. Big shout out from Harper to all the low-lifers. But yeah, I'm soaking wet, cold. Probably said some things that my boy should have never heard. Oh, me. Hudson was checking on me. Ryder was laughing till he almost peed his pants. So it happens. But how stupid. You can't crank the motor to put the freaking boat on the trailer or help you get off the trailer. It's dumb. It's been that way since I was a kid. It's actually a lake I learned to fish on. But, if you can't crank your motor, why do you need StarTron, Low Budget Live brought to you by StarTron and all the other fine Starbright cleaning products. They got some disinfectants that can kick that Rona right in the teeth. But just like StarTron's going to kick that ethanol in your teeth. Y'all like that segue, man? I slid that one in there. But if you can't use your big motor, no reason to, need it to be healthy, so no reason to use StarTron. But I actually had a conversation with a friend of mine today who was telling me how much he uses StarTron in his lawnmowers, four-wheeler, all kind of stuff. And he actually works at a hardware store here in my hometown, and says they're selling the heck out of it. So shout out to all y'all buying the StarTron. And huge thanks to StarTron. Danny from StarTron actually reached out to me a couple nights ago about the Quarantine Catch Fest that Darian and I, Stupid Darian, have started. I announced it on a little live session. And if you guys like those lives, I'm going to try to do one of those a week now. Maybe two, who knows. But we started Quarantine Catch Fest, which is an online fishing tournament. You can fish on the creek bank. You can fish in your boat. You can fish on the pond bank. You can whatever. But it's a bass tournament. Big bass tournament. We're gonna give prizes for the top 5, and the fine folks at StarTron, Starbright have reached out about giving some prize packs, so that's gonna be awesome. Probably see some 6 cent stuff in there. Probably gonna might even see some Costa in there. Come on. But we're gonna give away top 5 biggest bass weighed in the entire month of April. We're gonna give prizes away for that, and then we're gonna do a big largemouth, big smallmouth, and big spot. So you could technically win 2 prizes. Pretty cool. And, super excited about it. A lot of submissions so far. And the only rules are really you got to tag me and Darian on Instagram, Facebook, what have you. And then make sure we know it's caught during the month of April. Make sure, do something, write on a piece of paper, Quarantine Catch Fest. If you're doing a video, just say, hey, Quarantine Catch Fest. There's been some great ones so far, some big ones too. We've seen a 9, we've seen an 8. Some 7s, man. It's exciting. It's fun checking Instagram. I'm like checking it constantly. It's really fun so far. But got a big smallmouth yesterday from up at St. Clair, 5 something. Craziness, man. It's fun. And something just to distract us through all this insanity. Something else that Darian and I are doing. We challenged each other to our own Quarantine Catch Fest, and we're doing our biggest 5 for the month of April. Biggest 5 for the month of April. So far, I've only weighed 3. No bigs. A 392, 370, and like a 352 so far. But to my knowledge, and I haven't talked to him today, he fished today. I haven't talked to him today, but to my knowledge, he has not put one on the board yet. So we're going for our biggest 5 fish limit for the entire month of April. and a lot of time left, and it's been fun. And I might as well be the classic. Like, I'm intense when I'm out there filming. It's pretty cool, but gonna need bigger ones than I've caught so far. But he hasn't weighed one yet. So that's what we're doing. A lot of fun. Hope I can keep doing it. I was watching the news tonight, and dude, I've been fishing this local lake a lot, and they've actually shut down our state park where you guys have seen me film some videos. They shut it down, so we can't go out there. And I'm trying not to burn a lot of gas, so there's a lake about 20 minutes from the house I film a lot on, and fish. Got a lot of big bass. Great lake. Ran by the state of Tennessee. There are more people out there than I've ever seen right now during all this craziness. And we have a stay-at-home order now in Tennessee, but they said the outdoors, turkey season was in full swing, and we could fish and things. And man, people are everywhere. They're on the banks fishing. They're in their boats, and that's cool, right? But you see a lot of people with more than 2 or 3 in the boat. And I told my wife last night, the triple threat, I said, they're going to shut it down. Like, they're going to shut us down. There's too many people fishing. It's drawing too much attention. And this is a safety issue, right? And I'm not trying to be holier than thou or whatever, but when I go, I put the boat in. I'm either by myself or I'm with my children who I'm quarantining with. I'm not fishing with other people. And then I fish, put it back on the trailer, come home. You're not really dealing with anybody, but there are so many people going with different fishing buddies and all this kind of stuff. And man, I'm afraid we got to be taking it more serious than that. But on the news tonight, they said TWRA, who's the governing body over all Tennessee waterways and things, that they're looking at shutting down boat ramps. They're meeting again tonight on that. So I may be looking for a fishing hole. I don't know what Alabama's going to do. I'm an hour away from Alabama, 45 minutes. I fished down there a ton, but maybe having to go a little further to find some fish. I don't know. Can't lock me out, man. Can't keep me from fishing. I'll figure it out. I'll be wading the dang creek doing something. But scary times, folks. Scary times. Just try to listen to what the folks that seem to know are telling us right now. I don't think we can take any chances. This deal's bad. And, but I'm selfish. We're all selfish, but I don't want to be cooped up just in the damn house without getting to go fishing every now and then. Lord have mercy. Right here at the most amazing time of the year. It's 75, 80 degrees right now. It's just crazy. Fish are on the bed, fish are biting. And anyways, it's just, sucks. But I saw that, and in the news story, they got dude with a pontoon, 15 people in his pontoon, guy with a ski boat, 15 people in that riding by, jet ski, it's drawing a lot of attention because it's a stay-at-home order. But in all those people's defense, other than the people that have too many people in one boat, in all those people's defense, they said outdoor activity, boating, hiking, whatever. People are going to get out on these beautiful days, and until they say, hey, you're not going to be in the house, you're not leaving the house. You got to be locked down completely. And, I hope that that's not going to be the case, but damn. It's nobody's listening around here. I know that, but the only time I leave is to go fishing, or I've left the house to go to the grocery store. I try to go every couple weeks and just stock up, but right now get enough to last for a couple weeks. But crazy, man, crazy freaking times. Speaking of crazy times, I can tell you that a brother in arms in the fishing industry, fishing world, professional fishing is hurting. And that's Aaron Martens. And my guest tonight, we're gonna talk about Aaron. We're gonna tell some Aaron stories. But he had a seizure, best that I've read, and was out fishing and was taken to the hospital, and they found some lesions on his brain. Okay. They're going to have to be removed. And so thoughts and prayers to Aaron, his lovely wife, Leslie, their kids. And from what I've been told, the family hasn't been able to get to him to see him because of all the COVID-19, and they're down and around Birmingham, the way I understand it. And scary stuff, y'all. Scary stuff. There's a lot of real world here. Here I am bitching about not getting to go, technically might not get to go fishing or whatever. And so many more important things to worry about right now. But Aaron is one of my favorite. I got to be buddies with Aaron. I've got to be, teammates with Aaron on some situations, on some pro teams and things over the years. I've fished with Aaron, and he is a guy that when I was a kid I looked up to immensely, man. When he was coming up through the ranks on the West Coast, and just to the elites, to everything. Text my guess, and he just, man, he's just such a good guy, and he's just out there, you know. Space cadet, goofy, funny, can be super serious, just innovative to the word go. And it's a scary time for him and his family. And I'm praying, hoping, praying that he bounces back from this healthier than ever. And Aaron takes care of himself, man. He's so healthy. He's a runner. And he's one of the greatest of all time to ever pick up a rod and reel. He basically has gills. And but I want to talk with another Californian tonight. And this guy's a repeat offender on LBL. He is, somebody that I think the world of, and he is a FLW Tour, was an FLW Tour guru in my eyes, made the switch to Major League Fishing, BPT, last year, and that is Mr. Cody Meyer from California. I'm going to check in with Cody.
Hello.
What's up, buddy?
What's up, Luke? How's it going, man?
How are you, buddy? I am, just doing Low Budget Live here. Low Budget Live Bar. It was the Low Budget Live Bar and Grill, but now it's the Low Budget Live Bar and Bunker. That's what we're calling it these days. That's what we're calling it these days. Because you know,
bunker.
The old bunker. You know, this is these are trying times, my friend. These are trying times, and I know you know it better than anybody.
Hey, this is absolutely crazy. I was just talking to Shanna, you know, and old Mrs. Ramsey, and she just sent me this thing. If you could go back 10 years about what's going on right now in 2020, and it's so true. Like, what is going on right now in the world?
I know.
This is unbelievable.
Yeah.
For one, Tiger King. That's on Netflix.
Yeah, baby.
Need I say more?
Need I say more? Joe Exotic. Big shout out to Joe. Carol Baskins definitely killed her husband. I think we can say that she did it. She did.
You know, big mistake Joe made in his life is to marry two straight men. You know, so.
Listen, if you'd ever told me, I said it last week on the show, if you'd ever told me that the one thing that would unite the country would be a gay gun-toting polygamist with tigers in cages in Oklahoma, I would have never believed it.
I would have, if you would have told me that, I would have never in a million years watched it. And then once you watch it, you're like, okay, these people are so messed up. I got to watch more.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. I think that's just human nature. It's why reality TV ever really kicked off. You know, we like a train wreck, but there's something compelling about it too. If you could say, do you think in bass fishing, do you think we have a fish king out there?
A fish king?
Fish king. Do we have one in fishing? Do we have one?
Gosh, I don't even know. Aaron Martens, man, for catching?
No, well, yeah. If we're talking about
a psycho?
Yeah, no, if we're talking about a psychopath, definitely not Aaron. But no, definitely not. I don't know. I got to think about that. I need to figure it now. As far as talking like him, Wesley Strader wins the award.
Well, there's a couple categories here. Okay, so for one, as far as I know, there's not a guy anywhere remotely close to being as weird as Joe Exotic.
No, or crazy.
Or crazy, but we have different categories. Talking, Wesley Strader. Looks, 100% Seth Fighter.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, earrings could be Jason Williams.
Jason Quinn.
Jason Quinn, that's it. Yeah, I don't know, man. But I don't think anyone's that crazy.
I don't think anybody's that crazy or shady. Really,
no,
you know, there might be some shenanigans that go on in pro fishing every now and then, but nobody's making 46 live episodes about how somebody killed their
husband. Yeah. My only regret watching that show is is a guy who filmed that deal, and he you know, his stuff got burnt down. Wouldn't you love to see that footage?
I would love it. I would love it. That guy was the best too. He was my favorite on the whole show. I think the guy that used to work for CBS or whatever. I loved him. So you said the bass king for catching fish is Aaron Martens. So I think that's a good. It's a really good way to describe Aaron, because I said before you came on, I was talking about Aaron, and I was talking about how my guest tonight was Mr. Cody Meyer, and that you were California guy like Aaron, but you and we talked a little bit on the phone this afternoon, and you were telling me that Aaron's your fishing hero.
Yeah, 100%. You know, when I think about Aaron, I mean, this goes back a long time. You know, I've done this now. This is my 12th year full time, but when I was in high school, before high school, there was a guy that won everything. And I'm talking everything on the West Coast. You know, the only time someone would beat them is if they got lucky and, you know, caught a random 9-10 pounder, or, you know, a guy like Mike Long would beat him occasionally. And you know, that might have been, snaggy. I mean, something like that. Other than that, Aaron was untouchable. He was this young guy that dominated. I mean, Angler of the Years for one bass used to be the big thing, and they had this Daiwa Cup. He won every single year. He won Pro-Am after Pro-Am. And, you know, for me, I grew up in Northern California. I live kind of at the base of the foothills, so we have all these reservoirs, big spotted bass. And I can remember I was 16 years old at Lake Oroville, lake I grew up, and I met Aaron Martens for the first time. He was fishing a Bassmaster Open, and he blew this thing away. And
I remember
when
that,
I say blow it away, I mean, he's catching, you know, you go out there and you catch 8 pounds, and you're in the top 10, 8 pounds a day, and he was catching 13, 14 pounds, just unheard of stuff. And I remember talking to him, and he was very approachable, you know, 16-year-old kid, and I knew this guy, and he's been my hero. And I remember seeing him tie on a drop shot, man, with an 11-foot leader. He has a tape measure out, measuring this thing so it's exactly 11 foot. And the following day, he won the tournament. I go out there, and I'm following, you know, kind of from a distance, following the guy around. A bunch of guys were. And after we were done, you know, the tournament was over. We went back out and looked, and it was 150 feet deep. And until last year, I still thought, how in the heck did he catch fish? But he was actually video game fishing them. This is back when graphs weren't even a big deal. And they were suspended down in like 75 foot. And I said, well, why the 11-foot drop shot? And he had some crazy story. But
of course, because he's a details guy.
He, without a doubt, Luke, is my hero. And growing up, if I would be the angler I am today without meeting him, because I modeled so much of my fishing career on that finesse, you know, what Aaron has done, brought the drop shot, the roboworm type stuff. And, you know, without ever seeing that, ever learning that, getting addicted to that style of fishing, maybe I would have never been on tour. Maybe I would have just been a big jig flipping guy going down the bank, wouldn't have been consistent at all. So who knows?
Yeah, he's definitely, man, he's a hero of mine for sure. And I know we talked about that earlier. He's just, I don't know, man. He's so innovative in so many ways. He's so unique in so many ways with his personality and how he approaches things. And he's kind of a space cadet. We've talked about that. Like he's kind of out there, and he's definitely, you know, my fishing, until Aaron came along, my fishing heroes were Denny Browers and, you know what I mean, the Biffles of the world when I'm growing up, and Hank Parkers and stuff. And then here comes this guy, and he's got his spinning rods and his light line and his drop shots, like you're saying, and stuff that we didn't do on the Tennessee River, man. And I really, you know, I get a hard time from a lot of people about my spinning rod obsession, but it started really with Aaron Martens for me. I mean, truly, I mean, that was one of the first guys that I ever really saw beat people's brains in with a spinning rod. And Aaron self-admits he doesn't like a spinning rod that much. He likes to flip. He likes to sight fish. Great sight fisherman, great swim bait fisherman. Just really, really cool guy. But I got a quick Aaron story, and this is one of my favorite stories that I was ever a part of. I was at a Major League Fishing event years ago up in Maine, several years ago, and TH was sponsoring the event, so I was there. And we got to, the anglers take out sponsors fishing or whatever, so I got to fish with Aaron. So Aaron and I go out, and dude, we're drop shotting these smallmouth, man, on this lake in Maine, and it's like 15-year-old me, man. This is it, right? Like, this is my dream come true. I'm drop shotting side by side on the front deck with Aaron Martens to smallmouth we can see on the graph, snatching them up. And it's like, dude, where has life taken you? This is epic, right? So the water, we get in this one section of the lake, we graph a bunch of fish, and they kind of quit biting. And I asked Aaron, there's a color robo worm, and I know you know it, called bold bluegill. Yep. And it was one I threw on the Tennessee River because the water's off-colored a lot. And I said, hey, man, we were drop shotting like Morning Dawn or something, of course. And I said, hey, man, do you have any bold bluegill? Dude, Aaron stops and looks at me, and he goes, how do you know about that, man? And I said, well, dude, I fish it all the time. And he goes, bro, you just blew my mind. It was one of my favorite things that ever happened. And I was like, well, do you have any? He goes, yeah, man, I got a bag of them right back here behind the passenger seat. So I got in there, and and I'm sure he still does this, keeps all of his plastics in JJ's scent. Yeah. It's plastic in a bag. They all smell like garlic. He took his robos out of the pack, put them in there, and dude, we go to working on them on bold bluegill. And he was like, bro, that was a great call. It was so fun, man. I'll never forget that as long as I live, dude. As long as I live, I'll never forget that moment.
He's incredible. I mean, a lot of those colors. Here's something funny. Last year at the Red Crest, I'm colorblind as a bat. I can't see red and green for nothing. And the only way I know if it's red or if it's green, if it says green pumpkin or red on a package. Seriously.
Okay.
And Aaron is the same way. And
he's colorblind. I didn't know that. I don't guess.
Yeah, he's colorblind with red and green, and so. Last year at the Red Crest, we're camping next to each other. We had dinner every night with each other, kind of lonely being on the road. And so it was cool to talk to him about a lot of that stuff. And most of those colors, bold bluegill, margarita mutilator, all these crazy colors.
Yeah.
Yeah. He invented these colors, and he doesn't even know what green or red look like.
So he designed a lot of those colors then. Well, I know they had like Aaron's Magic, of course, is a huge one, and Aaron's Morning Dawn.
Yeah, just a ton of them. And I have a crazy story. You mentioned bull bluegill. So Lake Shasta, it was a Bassmaster Open, late 90s. He won that too. And I mean, he won it, same thing as the Oroville deal, blowing it away. I mean, won by, 10 pounds, where 10 pounds is a huge bag there in the fall. And he's catching his fish. Think about this for a second. He's catching his fish on this long bar up the Sacramento River arm on a Zara spook, that Okie Shad Zara spook.
Oh gosh, yeah.
He's leading the tournament by like 5 or 6 pounds. This is the final day. He rolls up to his spot where he caught every fish, fires out there, catches a 2.5 pounder, which again is big, and starts freaking out. Oh my God. Bro, oh my God, look at the crawdad in this thing's throat. And it's like a, big 1 ounce crawdad on a 2.5 pounder. Well, he pulls the crawdad out, which, I would never do. You would never do, because you're losing weight.
Yeah.
He examines this crawdad and goes, oh my God, dude. Oh my God, we got to go. He puts the troll motor down, and he's leading the tournament off this spot. And he runs about 10, 15 miles out of this river, goes up this other river 10, 15 miles, pulls up onto this shallow clay bank, 5 feet of water, and he was catching all of his fish, over 100, 150, all suspended, pulls out bold bluegill and fishes it on a Texas rig in 5 feet of water, and has the biggest bag of the entire event. And
He's got
why
gills,
he did it,
man. He's got gills.
He did it because he saw that color of the crawdad, and he knew they were in a certain stage in the fall when they're either spawning or what, and he knew where they're going to be.
Unbelievable, man.
Yeah, so
scary
there's
stuff, man. Scary stuff.
So, I don't have any doubts, man. Aaron will pull through this. I mean, the guy, he's got it. I mean, it's Aaron Martens,
That's
so
right. He's like
him.
Superman. Yeah, that's why what we're talking about. I was talking about right before you came on, man. It's there's a lot of scariness in the world, whenever things hit home like this and these situations. I was being a little selfish tonight because Tennessee's threatening to close our lakes and boat ramps and things. And I was like, what the hell? There are people abusing it right now. I think for sure we're under a stay-at-home order, and they're not observing the right amount of caution, I'm sure. And they're monitoring that, and they're seeing that, and people are out and about for sure. But then you got a lot of people are sick, and then unfortunately we've got friends of ours like Aaron that are in a shape right now, and it puts things in perspective. But speaking of things like the lakes being closed, how are you dealing with? Because I've seen your Instagram story. You fished a little bit. Looks like I know you live on a lake there at home, but. How are you? So what's California's deal? Because they were one of the first states, and they typically are California, New York, some of these bigger areas, super populated states, made the move on this COVID-19 quick, and I think they should be applauded for that. Even though New York's is in a complete crap show, to say the least, as far as how many people have it there. But how are you dealing with that? And what's California's status with fishing and that with the COVID-19?
So California, I mean, you nailed it. They were one of the first states. It is now where I live. There's I think a couple cases in my county, very big county. I live, in between Sacramento and Reno, so it's not a populated area like the Bay Area or Southern California, but it's pretty wild, Luke. I mean, everything's shut down. Businesses are closed. A lot of them are probably closed for good. All the lakes practically now are shut down. I mean, that was one of the first things they did. All the state parks, lakes are shut down. As far as I know, Lake Shasta, that's where I did a deal the other day for MLF, and that's open. That's a federal ran lake, so that's going to stay open, and it's not a populated area. The Delta's open for a couple more days is what I'm hearing. And then my little lake, it's just a private little lake, so it's hard for them to shut that down. But it is hard, man. California, you drive through my area, it's like a ghost town. I think people are way more paranoid there for sure. Mask and bodysuits and definitely no lakes going. So it's pretty scary times. Like, I bet you if you ask Brent Ayler, I would almost guarantee there's nothing to fish in Southern California.
Because Brent's more Southern Cal than you are. Because you're up north.
He's about 9-10 hours south of me.
Oh, wow, okay.
And there's nothing down there, and it's really pretty hot spot down there for him. But I'll tell you, California, I haven't left the state, but just talking to, to you, to Jason Johnson, guys, it's nothing. It's way worse out here, and kind of sucks, kind of scary. And, here I'm sitting at home and just wondering what's going to happen, with the rest of the season. Of course, we're going to New York later on this year. Now I'm thinking, are we going to New York with all that's happening? And you said it. I mean, I would rather have this COVID-19 than be dealing with a lot of things that people are dealing with, like Aaron and stuff. So really thankful and just trying to stay safe, man. But
that's it. Well, do you think FLW postponed all tournaments through May? I saw where you guys canceled Grand. I mean, what's Cody's opinion on? I mean, are we going to fish tournaments again this year? Whether it be MLF, Bassmaster, FLW, Toyota Series, BFLs. I mean, what do you think? And this is all just speculation and of course just us guessing, because we don't know if this is going to end next week or next year. We don't know, man. But what's your feeling? I mean, we're in April. It's because for me, my opinion is it's going to be hard to reschedule a lot of this stuff because you're going to be rescheduling basically 12 months of tournaments into, say it's over with by June, 6 months of tournaments. So, I mean, what do you think, man? What's your feeling on that?
Oh man, my gut feeling is we will have some tournaments. I don't know if we'll have all the tournaments, and it's a rescheduling deal. You know, people don't realize, but Bassmaster, Major League Fishing, you know, right now they have time slots for ESPN or Discovery Channel that they have to, you know, have a show, produce a show by that date. So if we go past that date, it's not like they can just make up a, you know, like the Classic's on right now. They had that date set in stone a year ago, and if they would have postponed the Classic to May, they would have lost that date. Who knows if they would have televised it? So I do think hopefully, you know, we'll have some tournaments the rest of this year, and I don't know if we'll have all of them, but I do think we'll have some. But then, you know, you listen to guys talk about there might not be NFL. So if that happens, I don't know if we're done or what. It's kind of depressing, to be honest, but you know, really, obviously, being safe is the number one deal here. And this, when we were at the Classic, I mean,
yeah. Whew.
I didn't think that was a big deal, but man, looking back, that was pretty dumb to be there, right?
Well, it was, and you know, talking to some friends of mine from Bass, I mean, they had huge crowds. You know, I mean, it was crazy. There were a lot of people there, and it was a typical Classic. You know, it was good, but it was like. Yeah. I was joking about Corona at that point because, you know, everybody kind of was. And there was 100,000 people in that, in that building with us, you know, and coming home, I'm like, well, was that the smartest thing that we've ever done? You know, and you know, Bass nobody was canceling anything then. You know what I mean? It wasn't like people were canceling things and Bass was like, oh, we're having the Classic. I mean, it wasn't like that. We just didn't know what we were right on the cusp of, you know, this unprecedented time in our nation, because if they had known, I don't think they would have had it. Now, have there been any reported cases from the Classic or anybody that's been to the Classic? I don't think so. We haven't heard that. But, you know, basically they're saying you can be a carrier of this and not have the symptoms. So I would say out of all the days and the hands we shook and the pictures we took and the folks that we, you know, hugged up on and everything else, that we probably came in contact with it. You know, somebody did. Not I say we as a broad term, but somebody we came in contact with it. For sure.
Yeah. Brent Ayler at Lake Fork was sick.
So was Strader.
As a dog. Yes.
And so my wife at the same time was, buddy, and just stopped coughing last week, but she was tested. She was tested and it was negative. So, cause it got to the point that we were like, and one of her coworkers was the same way, terrible cough, was not the flu for sure, had a fever, sickest I've ever seen her. She normally bounces back a lot quicker than I do. And but same way, Leanne Swindle, same exact way. Leanne and I were texting about it. She's like, hey, is Marissa over this cough yet? It's like 3 weeks after the Classic. And I said, no, she's not. She says, neither am I. She's like, I'm freaking out. So, you know, but now they're all, you know, doing great now. We've been home, you know, haven't been anywhere, but craziness, man. But Marissa came to the Classic. We did the Low Budget Live down there, and she came down for that night. And she's like, oh, boy. The Classic gave me a little something, you know. So
well, I think I've had the Corona like 3 times this week, man. I stubbed my toe.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, allergies are going crazy. Oh my God.
Of course, the pollen, man. Yeah. The other day I was snotty, like kind of snotty when I woke up, and I called my dad, and he goes, "Hey." He's freaking out more than anybody I've ever seen about this whole thing, and he goes, "Are you sick?" It's like, Dad, first of all, I just woke up. Second of all, I'm like, it's pollen everywhere, man. I've been fishing. He's like, oh, well, if you start to feel bad, go get checked.
It's scary. When we were at the Classic, I truly, honestly, I didn't think it was a joke, but I didn't think it was serious. And now it's a big deal. I mean, you know,
well, I didn't think it was on our shores at that point as much as it is now. You know what I mean? Yes. Like, that's what you're thinking. Oh, it's a China thing. Oh, it's a Spain thing. Oh, it's a, you know, that's typical American. That's kind of what we think a lot of times.
Yeah. And we're bass fishermen. We're not the brightest people.
No. We fish for a living, for the love of God.
Yeah. I'll tell you, you know, something scary to me. My buddy, he's a police officer in California, and, you know, they're trying to have these curfews, and of course you go by Home Depot and there's more people than you've ever seen in your life.
Loading up ferns.
Yeah, but he's been shoveling people out of the streets type thing. Hey, get home, leave, quit what you're doing right now and get out of here. And, a couple weeks ago, there were some guys that coughed in his face as a joke.
Oh, boy.
I mean, now this is serious. And he told me something that kind of stuck. So since he told me this, it's been, I've taken it more serious, but he goes, you think about, I got a 5-year-old and a 2.5-year-old. If they get it and they go to the hospital, they're quarantined for 14 days alone.
Yeah,
by
scary.
themselves.
Scary, man.
And I thought, oh my gosh, that'd be terrifying.
Yeah, scary. So scary.
Yeah. So it's, I'm just hoping, man, like everyone, maybe a month from now, a month and a half. God, I don't know, man. Just, we need to get over this deal and get back to just normal.
Normalcy. Whatever normal was. I don't even remember normal, I don't think.
I know. We need to get back to, low budget live at the bar.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Can you imagine no college football or no fishing?
No, don't even say that. No, don't even say that, man. Don't even. I'm an SEC guy. Don't even threaten me with no college football.
Hey, but you got to look at the bright side. Tennessee right now is tied for first place.
Yeah. All you California guys with your SEC jokes.
Hey, I don't know. There's no good team in California. So
I know. You got to get in. I understand. It's always that way with you. They're the GOAT from FLW. The GOATs. You and Andy Morgan, the GOATs. Dueling goats. Killing turkeys. I saw him post a picture yesterday. He's killing turkeys. That's who I need to call and get a quarantine update from is Andy Morgan. I may do that next week. I need an Andy. Andy, anything that moves that he hunts, he kills. I mean, he is a stone cold killer. Like it's insane to me. Like the amount of animals that he puts in the dirt is pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. It is. He's like. He's the same way with fish, obviously. The dude's got, gills too, but just crazy, dude. Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, look, buddy, I really, really appreciate you taking the time out in this craziness to touch base with me and tell some Aaron stories. I hope everybody enjoyed those because, like Cody and I talked earlier, I was like, man, we need to do this on the air because people, I feel like there are a lot of people that really appreciate Aaron and then there are a lot of people that don't know him that well. So still, he's kind of a quiet guy on social media and things. And all you youngsters that might not know Aaron, you better get you a dose of some Aaron Martens videos and learn because he's one of the kings, man, if not the king.
He is. I'll tell you what, even if you don't know Aaron is a super awesome person. He really is. And he'll bounce back, no doubt.
No doubt about it.
Even if you don't know Aaron Martens, but you're new to bass fishing, just because you don't know him, I mean, you pick up a spinning rod and this light line and stuff. Aaron had an effect on that.
No doubt. Drop shot hooks, drop shot weights, drop shot worms.
I mean, he changed the entire country. I was there in 1999 when he pulled out the drop shot with the catfish bell sinker. And I know, like I said, it changed my life forever. I mean, because I've won a ton of money, and I would not be where I'm at without that stuff. So even if you don't know him, there's an effect somewhere down the line if you pick up a spinning rod.
No doubt about it. Yeah, if you throw light braid with a fluoro leader, if you all this stuff, man, Aaron brought so much of that to the sport, especially to the professional ranks, and educated a lot of people, man. He took a lot of money, too.
He still did.
He still does. He's
going to keep on going. Keep on doing it.
Well, Cody, you guys be safe out there, you and the familia out there in Cali, and I'll be thinking about you guys, buddy. Give me a shout, and look forward to talking to you soon. Stay safe.
Sounds good, man. You too.
All right, buddy.
See
you, Cody. Cody Meyer, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope I got all that. Thought I had an audio glitch. Not sure. Trying to watch this stupid recording software. Stupid software. But something else I wanted to do right here, the end of Low Budget Live, Not So Live, a new segment. Harper and I last week talking about butter and making everybody mad. Really gave me an idea. It gave me an idea. And here's the idea. Here is the idea. So I'm going to do a top 10 list. I'm going to try to do a top 10 list. Maybe not every week, but this week I want to go right out of the giddy, right out the gate with 10. This is me. This is me. This is me. This is Luke. This is no, I'm not saying this is the best. I'm not saying anything like that, but this is my top 10 favorite crankbaits of my lifetime so far, up to this point. Top 10 favorite crankbaits. And these are, and there are some honorable mentions, and there are some that didn't make it, and there are some we'll talk about as we go through the list. And I want you to comment below, if you're on the YouTube, comment below your favorite crankbaits. You can take some off this list. You can add to it. Whatever, do your own list. But these are 10 crankbaits. I'll say influential. I'll say fish catchers. I'll say just at different times in my life, these are the ones I'm picking up, okay? And that's how we're going to end LBL this week. I thought this would be fun and get a conversation started. So, all right, here we go. Here we go. It's like David Letterman used to start the show with the top 10. We're ending the show with the top 10. Luke Duncan's top 10 crankbaits. Here we go. Here we go. Number 10. This little bad boy right here. This little bad boy right here. Lure Jensen Speed Trap. What y'all know about that? What y'all know about that one right there in particular? That one's got some old teeth marks on it. This was a, for early spring cranking. Little square bill. There's a lot of people still throw this. I still throw it a lot. But Lure Jensen Speed Trap, number 10 for me. One of my first square bills I really ever threw. My dad used to throw it a lot. But right there, there used to be a crankbait called a Man's Razorback that looked similar to this that my dad used to throw when I was a kid. Old crankbait. But Lure Jensen Speed Trap, just a little square biller, okay? A little square bill. Really kind of start, man, I used to throw this on a bass club and stuff. Old crawfish killer there in March. Number 9 for me. These are the top 10 most influential or top 10 crankbaits in Luke Duncan's life right here, okay? Rapala DT6, baby. DT6. You cannot underestimate this little bait in the pre-spawn, in the fall, anytime bass are 6-7 feet deep or shallower. It is such a dang fish catcher. It is such a big fish catching little bait made of balsa wood. Like to throw that bad boy on some 10 or 12 pound fluorocarbon, dude. Woo! That bait catches them though. It's one of my favorites when the water's cold, up into like the 50s. That right there, in any kind of color pattern, man. DT6, that is one. And it's kind of newer, several years old now, but I'm saying as far as like the top 10, if you would ask me this a few years ago, that wouldn't have been in there. But there are times when I get up towards the first of the list, I'll talk about this again because this is something that I wish I would have had years ago, honestly. And there are some other crankbaits in that size. Honorable mentions, I will say. Y'all know I'm a 6 Sense guy. The 6 Sense C6, it is that same depth range crankbait, but it's different. It's plastic, little bigger body, and I've just been fishing it for a couple years. And I've been throwing this one a lot longer. So this one definitely made the top 10. Moving on. Here we go. Top 10 crankbaits of Luke Duncan's life. Comment below if you're watching this on the tube. Your favorite crankbaits. This one, and you can see, I hope, I'm going to stretch out there. If you can see the teeth marks and the hook marks and the faded. This is a 6 Sense Movement 80X. And y'all all know that I'm with 6 Sense. I'm sponsored by 6 Sense. I promote 6 Sense. I have had this crankbait, gosh, man, I don't know, 6 years maybe, this one in particular. And the Movement 80X is, I was always a big fan, and it didn't make the top 10 because this replaced it for me in recent years. So this made the list. But I was always a fan of a Man's Baby 1- or a 1-, which was a waking crankbait that you could fish over shallow vegetation, shallow rock, round shallow wood, what have you. So when I discovered this particular bait, it replaced the 1- for me. You cast it a mile, but it's going to run up to a couple feet deep, but it's got this wild erratic action. And man, over the grass, particularly in the fall, this thing's oh gosh, I've caught so many big bass on this. Love it. So that's always a mainstay. And that's one of my favorites right there. That one's just beat all to heck. But that one always gets some attention and some love around shallow grass, shallow laydowns for me. But a Movement 80X. Moving on to, man, where are we getting to? Where are we getting to? Number 7. All right, number 7 for me is another little 6 cents crankbait that I absolutely adore. And of course, I love this style crankbait. So there are some honorable mentions we'll talk about, but this one has become one of my favorites. I catch a lot of fish on this thing. This is the 6 cents 50X square bill. Got them rattles right there, boy. But one of my favorite crankbaits really ever that I've came across in my life. But, you know, all this square bill stuff obviously starts with like the old Bagleys, and honorable mentions in the square bill category right there for me are the Spro Little John. Shout out to my boy John Cruz. Love a Spro Little John. KVD 1.5 kind of changed the game as far as those plastic square bills were concerned, you know. I've even got a little Lucky Strike one I like to throw. But that right there, this 50X in recent years has really jumped up there for me big time. Big time. I catch a lot of fish, especially that copper green right there. Whoo, boy, what you know about that, ladies and gentlemen? Ladies and gentlemen. All right, moving on. Number 6, and we're getting into some bigger crankbaits right here with this one. And another 6 cents hitter. Oh, got two tangled up there. This is a 6 cents C20. That is a deep, diving, loud, attention-getting son of a gun right there. Cast at a mile, really great body size, but if you're a ledge fishing and you don't have some of these in your box, and this is another one in the last, 2-3 years that has really just jumped into my top 10. I picked this crankbait up a ton. So, oh, listen to her right there. Come on. So 6 cents C20 is going to run about 20 feet deep on 12-pound line, 12-pound fluoro. You can bomb this sucker, man. Really big lips, got a great action, tough, amazing paint jobs. Love the C20, so it had to make the top 10. Moving on, the top 5, ladies and gentlemen. Top 5, we're moving in, and this is old school right here. This is old school, and this is another little old balsa bait right there, Rapala Shad Rap. This is a number 7. And I swear this will catch anything that swims, particularly for me. I don't even think I can say that word. But for me, I'm throwing this thing pre-spawn a lot. I'm throwing it again in the fall when it starts getting cold. This is such a tight, wiggling little sucker. But I have memories in my life, man, back to like 10 years old, throwing this thing on a spinning rod. Number 7 Shad Rap, the crawfish colors, the shad colors. But that's got to be in my top 5 because it's just epic, you know. Shad Rap I got a box full of them. We all do. And the number 5, the number 7, such good crankbaits. But number 5 for me, Shad Rap. Moving on. This is fun. This is going to get interesting, I think. As we go along, start doing some top 10 lists. May shake it up. Shake it up every time. So, for me, this crankbait at number 4 was very revolutionary. And I'm a Tennessee River guy. I'm a Tennessee River ledge guy. I am a deep water guy in the summertime for way back, and we'll talk about that actually with the next couple crankbaits. But this crankbait, a Strike King 6XD, changed the game. It changed the game. For us Tennessee River guys, and I'll get to why really in the next pick and in the top 3. But we never really had crankbaits that we could throw a long ways that would get down to the desired depth where the fish were at. We had to pull, we used to weight crankbait, do all this craziness, man. And of course, long lining and different things. But 6XD, you can bomb this thing absolutely would run, 20 feet deep. Still a big factor in my fishing. It's, compared to like the 6 cents, the C20, you can see the difference. They're built, they're similar, similar in body size. The C20 is a little bit bigger on that. The lip's a little wider, so you get a little bit more of an erratic action. The 6XD is a little tighter. So still throw this a lot. It's a great crankbait for that 15, to 20 feet deep mark right there. It's a great crankbait. So in my top 5, just because it was revolutionary, Mr. Van Dam put it on the map with some of them Kentucky Lake W's he put on the board. And it's great crankbait. All right, this is an old school one that I hope some of y'all know. And if you know, you know. But if you don't know, you're going to think I'm a moron. A Norman DD22. And this is the crankbait, one of the crankbaits of my childhood as well. And still an absolute monster at times. It throws like a turd. You can't throw it very far. It doesn't run very deep despite the big old lip. When I was a kid, we thought we were fishing deep when we were throwing DD22. And it just doesn't run that deep. But so many tournament wins on this thing for me, back in the day. But so many professional wins back in the day. Because this was the big crankbait, really, that we had. But a Norman DD22, this is actually a new one that I bought last year, all shiny. But Norman DD22, man, this thing will forever be in my top 5 just from a, maybe a memory standpoint. I don't catch as many on it anymore for sure, but I don't throw it as much, But anytime those fish were in like that 10 to 15 foot range, man, we were slinging this. We used to throw like 8-pound mono back in the day, but DD22, that's a solid choice for my top 10. All right, moving on. Top 2. And this one is, ooh, boy. This one right here is all business, ladies and gentlemen. And this is that, like I said, it's that Tennessee River deal. I love the deep crank, but this is a 6 cent C25. And if you don't have some of these in your boat, if you fish deep at all, yeah, I'm sorry. Because, dude, I have caught, you can throw it a mile. It'll get close to 25 feet of water. Dude, this crankbait, it's a big, look at it compared to like a 20. So it's more like that 10XD-ish size, which is a crankbait I've never thrown a ton. I know a lot of people do and catch a lot of fish on it. But you look at it compared to like a 6XD. It's a big profile bait. It gets big bites. I caught a 7 and a 5 one time on the same crankbait, one of these. But killer crankbait that moved its way almost to number 1 in my life just over the past few seasons. And of course all this is seasonal, but this crankbait, I have so many good memories and so many fish catches, so many 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I mean, there's no telling in one summer how many I caught on one of these. Unbelievable. C25 is an absolute just legend. That's a fairly new crankbait. Number 1. The number 1 crankbait in my garage, in my boat of all time. And it's one, full disclosure, I don't throw that much anymore. I don't throw it that much. Looking at it right here, I'm just, the memories. I don't throw it that much anymore. And it is a Bandit 200 series, baby. Especially that one right there in the old root beer. Oh my gosh, if these could talk. I'm telling you. Or the pearl one with red eyes. Me and my dad used to throw that in club tournament. This crankbait, now notice, similar to that little DT6 size, plastic body. Couldn't throw them that far really. But holy cow at the fish that I've caught on 200 series Bandit in my life. And I don't throw it as much as I should anymore. I don't. I'll be the first to admit that. But what an incredible crankbait. Takes number 1 for so many reasons. I caught a 9-pounder on one of these one time. Just crazy. But right there, there's your list. Comment below, guys. Let me know. And send me some messages on some top 10 lists you want me to do. This is fun. I got out in the shop before this and started going through boxes and was like, dang, man, something to distract us right now when there's not a lot of stuff going on. We can do some fun stuff like that. Thank y'all so much. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for watching Boats and Pros. If you haven't seen that, please go check it out. Thank you so much for participating in Quarantine Catch Fest so far. Hashtag Quarantine Catch Fest on social media. Tag me, tag Stupid Darian. Let's see those bass. Let's see your bass. And let's get through this thing together, guys. Okay? I'm going to send you out on some Biloxi Blues. And just thank you. That's all I want to say. Stay safe. Hug your mama, as always. But, just stay safe out there, guys. Take this stuff serious. Let's get through it. Let's get this stuff smashed out, and let's get back to normal life. I will see y'all this week with a live. I'll try to announce when I'm going to do it. Got some fishing videos for y'all this week as well. And just thank you so much. Have a great week. Keep your heads down. Keep your nose on the grindstone. Let's go. Thank y'all.
Never could make it last. Spanish moss, a Civil War ghost. Well, I'm gonna leave them in the past. Any direction, Lord, I'll be fine. It don't matter east or west. North, south, wherever the wind blows, I'm leaving those burdens at rest. This highway, it does not know my name, and I don't care. No, I don't care. Heading my way for another place, and I got 3 good tires and a spare. Just a white line gypsy getting out of Mississippi with just enough gas to get there.